Welcome to Nerdschatting, movie, TV, comic chat. Thanks for tuning in.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdschatting podcast. My name is Ben, and with me this week, and once again, is my good friend JB.
Hello, everyone. Don't know why I've got my arms out like an aeroplane.
Why have you got your arms out like an aeroplane?
You were just doing it just a minute ago.
So
that's
are
why.
you mirroring me?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay,
cool.
Okay, good stuff. So we are the Nerdschatting podcast. We talk about movies and TV shows and comic books on occasion. And as you can hear, again, Nate is still on his holidays. We've got an update from him a little bit later on. So I'm running this show again. Let's keep this train moving.
Oh, mate, it's running. It's running. It's like a freight train. You are now the new showrunner in my eyes.
I think Nate's got a problem in his hands when he comes back, I think.
We may have to renegotiate some contracts. There'll be disputes over pay deals and all sorts of shenanigans.
Yeah,
going on.
and I'm sure that's going to go down really well.
I'm going to get my lawyers involved.
Anyway, this week we are going to do a little bit of broken news, do a little bit of nerd scene, which is our usual sort of shtick. And then we are going to finish it up with a non-spoiler and spoiler review of the new Tom Cruise movie, Mission Impossible, Fallout. What does he fall out? Of a plane and a helicopter and off of a bike. He falls out of lots of things, and it might have a nuclear sort of slant to it as well.
Can you fall out of a bike? Because you're technically not in a bike,
if you're in one of those bikes that's got like a roof on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like a moped with like a roof to keep you dry.
Oh, my goodness.
No idea what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's do some broken news, shall we?
Yes, please.
Broken news. Right, so this is broken news. So this is news that's not breaking, it's broken, it's so old, it's already broken. We'll go through what we've got here. First bit of news. We're not going to last very long on this, I don't think, JB. However...
What do you mean?
You are aware that
Yes.
Neill Blomkamp
Yeah?
is going to be doing a RoboCop movie, which is either a sequel to the original RoboCop,
Yes.
or it's a sequel to RoboCop 2, or it's something else completely.
But they're basically writing off the new RoboCop.
And they're going again.
And there was also RoboCop 3, I believe, which was an absolute travesty.
An abomination of a film,
Yeah.
as I understand it. I've not actually seen it myself. Anyway, someone called Dimitri Vegas, which is at Dimitri Vegas, said he rewatched #RoboCop last night. Still one of the best. Can't wait to see at Neill Blomkamp's twist. Who should play RoboCop, though? And then he sent one of those little emojis where he's sort of questioning with an eyebrow raise.
Yeah.
Anyway, Neill Blomkamp replied and said Peter Weller.
Wow.
So Peter Weller obviously actually played RoboCop in the 87 movie.
And played him very well.
87? 87?
Back yourself.
I'm going to back myself and say it was 87.
I'm going to just try and work it out.
The
going
1990 sequel?
Oh, Ben, if you're so right on this, it'll be
If I'm right, amazing.
Yeah.
If I'm not right, fair enough.
What I quite like is I can't type quick enough.
That's okay. That's not a problem. Don't worry. We'll fix this in the edit.
1987.
Was RoboCop. What about RoboCop 2?
RoboCop 2. Bear with me while I just
RoboCop
try and compute
2,
this.
1990.
It's 1990.
Is it really?
Yeah. High five me. Touch me. Nice.
Thank you. That was a high five you just had. So anyway, listen. So Neill Blomkamp has said, look, I'd like Peter Weller to play RoboCop. And Peter Weller played RoboCop amazingly in the original movie, and in the sequel he was great as well. But what I will say to you is that Peter Weller is actually 71 years old at the moment. So don't let me say anything too bad here, but
you're being ageist.
71 years old is not exactly a spring chicken.
Does he need to be a spring chicken?
Well, I mean, RoboCop can get older, can't he?
Well, technically, no.
Because he's a cyborg, isn't he?
Well, maybe he becomes a little bit rusty and then has to, rather than eating the baby food, he has some WD-40.
But his parts can be replaced. The skin that he's still got is going to be aging, I guess, even though it's dead, so technically it might not. I don't know how any of this works.
I don't care. I am looking forward. If he is cast in this remake or the second or whatever they're going to call it, I'm 100% going to go and see it. RoboCop is one of my all-time favourite films.
Yes.
It's an absolute classic. And RoboCop 2 wasn't too bad. Then it did fall off the wagon.
Yeah, massively.
I like the fact that at the time, the robots, androids, whatever you want to call it, they just moved. And they were like a robot. They couldn't do somersaults, not like the new RoboCop, who was almost like a gymnast, probably get a gold. At the European
Sure.
Championship.
Well, yeah, I think that's the natural progression of technology as it was perceived in the 80s and how it's perceived in the 21st century. So I sort of get why they did that for the remake. Not that I've seen the remake, but I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see a sequel of the original RoboCop movies.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Neill Blomkamp to do it because I think he makes great sci-fi movies. And if they get Peter Weller back, then that's a hat trick, right? That's a winner. Anyway. That was just in there. It's a tweet. It could be nothing. It could mean everything. Who knows? Watch this space. Don't hold your breath.
Oh, sorry, I was holding my breath.
Let's move on. Okay. Next bit of news. Idris Elba is reportedly a top contender to play the next James Bond.
Right.
So, currently James Bond is Daniel Craig.
Yep.
James Bond, Daniel Craig is on to play James Bond for a fifth time.
Is that Bond 25? Whatever the term.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No, maybe. I don't know.
Can't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Is the important thing.
Yep.
But he's done Casino Royale. He's done Quantum of Wank. He's done Skyfall. Actually, it's not a great Bond film, no matter what anyone says. I'll never be convinced because I don't think it's that good.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
And he's done Spectre, which is
Another good one, yeah.
whatever. So he's going to come back one more time.
Yeah.
Anyway, they are talking about who is going to be the next Bond. And apparently, Idris Elba is on board and possibly a top contender. Now, what I think this is...
Yeah, go on, Ben. Get your conspiracy theory
I'll
out.
get my tinfoil hat right on
No,
here.
I'm going to give you a little soapbox so you can stand up in a moment.
10 years ago, Idris Elba would have been fantastic as James Bond.
Right.
I'm being really ageist this week.
Yes,
now,
you are.
I think he's potentially a little bit too old. All right?
Right.
Now, I think Idris Elba is in his 50s. I might be wrong with that. He might be in his late 40s. I'm going to back myself and say he's in his 50s.
Mate, you are backing yourself hard today.
You're gonna look it up, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
He's
But
45.
Is he 45?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, mate, you need to take a step back.
I'm gonna take a step back and have a word for myself.
You've had too much controversy already.
Anyway, listen. I have no problem with there being a black Bond. I've got no problem there being a woman Bond. I've got no problem with anyone being James Bond.
What about me?
You could do a good James Bond.
Thank you.
You put on a suit. You look very smart.
And my first name is James.
It is James.
Yeah.
No. We've discussed this. It's James.
Oh, yeah.
James. Anyway. I think this is potentially the studio putting the feelers out about what people really think about this. I think there's enough internet buzz and chatter that they'd be quite happy, but I don't think he would hang around for very long.
Who else?
He certainly wouldn't sign on for a 5-picture deal.
Who else is in the hat for being James Bond? Is Craig definitely tapped out?
I think this is going to be the last Daniel Craig Bond film.
Okay.
I think it starts filming in later this year.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Comes
it's
out
about.
Next year, I think.
Probably end of next year, yeah.
Yeah.
They turn them around pretty quick. It's because it's not all CGI. That's why. There's actual action in camera, that sort of thing. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Other contenders you've got, Tom Hardy's always mentioned, although he's potentially a bit too short. Henry Cavill is mentioned, although potentially he's not a great actor. You know, he's good at some action, but he might not have the acting chops to pull off a Bond.
Right.
Who else is mentioned? Oh, there's a guy who was in one of the Fast and Furious films, and he also starred in The Alienist, whose name I always forget.
Vin Diesel?
Yes, it's Vin Diesel, yeah. No, I forget what he's called, but he would make a great James Bond. I'm just going to look that up, actually, because I need to know who that is right now. And if I don't know who it is right now, I'm going to be kicking myself to death. That's a bit harsh, kicking myself to death.
You're being harsh on yourself today.
I am. Luke Evans.
Yes.
Luke Evans. Do you know who Luke Evans is?
Tell me.
This guy. This guy's Luke Evans. So if you're in front of some kind of device which connects itself to the internet right now...
If you look at his IMDb picture, I mean, he looks quintessentially Bond, but it could be anyone. I mean, I could look like that.
He's from Wales. We've had a Welsh James Bond before in Timothy Dalton.
Yeah. I never. Thanks.
Very good. But anyway, this news story isn't about Luke Evans or anyone else. It's about Idris Elba. Do you think Idris Elba would be a good James Bond?
Yes.
Do you think he'd be a James Bond for more than 5 films?
Don't know. I would like to see how the film or how it portrays this time of Bond's life, because we've like all the Bonds have all been of different ages, and they've all brought their own things to that.
But they've all been one character going through.
Yeah,
all been one character going through. So what this would lead to is potentially the theory that someone had on the internet years ago, recently, I don't know when it was, that James Bond is not one man, it's a code name given to the next Bond.
Yeah.
The next person who picks it up. And there was something very much like that, actually, in a comic book I read recently called Lazarus. So this is a comic book that Nate reads as well. So spoilers for Lazarus, the Lazarus comic, if you're not up to date. However, Lazarus is someone who is like, the world has changed. It's in the like 60, 70, 80 years into the future.
Right.
And the world is controlled by families, okay? And they control everything. They control the media for their realm. And there's an English realm that's controlled by, I can't remember the name of the family now. And every family has a Lazarus, which basically is like the general of all their armies. They could, if they're at war with each other, the two Lazaruses could fight it out rather than it being a full-scale conflict.
Yeah.
Anyway, this British Lazarus dies.
Yeah.
And the next Lazarus that comes in is a black guy who gets the same name as the previous Lazarus and all of that Lazarus's memories.
Wow.
Right?
Cool.
So Idris Elba coming in and playing James Bond, is that then confirming that James Bond isn't one man, it's a code name and it's just passed on to the next guy?
Could well be.
Or am I just talking crap and do you know what? No, forget all of that. He is actually just James Bond. And they've just retcon everything and he's always been this guy.
I don't care. I think he'd be a good James Bond.
Me neither, really, I
There we
guess.
go.
He could do it. But if you think about it, if he's 45 now,
Yeah.
Bond, the next Bond film is going to come out next year, he's 46.
Yeah.
Then Craig walks off into the sunset with his Walther PPK in hand and, you know,
Isn't it Walter, not Walther?
Walther.
Is it Walther?
It's not a Walter PPK, it's a Walther PPK.
Is it?
Get out.
See you later.
he walks on to the sunset, PPK in one hand, rum and coke in the other hand, or whatever it is that he drinks.
Yeah, martini.
Martini, shaken not stirred.
Yeah.
And then Idris Elba comes in. Before another film comes out, he's going to be 47. That's getting on a little bit now to be a full-blown action hero. Don't get me wrong. I know we're going to talk about a film in a minute where 56-year-old Tom Cruise is running around like like anybody's business. So maybe I'm just a prat, James. I don't
think
know.
so. I think you've been rattling on way too long about this.
I have. I have. Maybe I have. I don't think I think he could do it. Is it a younger man's game?
No.
Fine. What do I know? One thing that is true is Idris Elba is a great actor and he could portray
Smash it out the park.
a fantastic Bond.
Yep.
We'll keep a watching brief.
I hope it happens.
Me too, I guess. Right, next bit of news. This bit of news confirms for me, James, that some people on Twitter are the worst. Last week, we reported that Ruby Rose had been cast as Batwoman.
Yep.
Ruby Rose this week quit Twitter, according to her, due to a fan backlash.
This is
It's the worst.
Everyone's entitled to their opinions. I understand that.
That's
and I
fine.
I think this is where our social media can really hinder. I'm sure she got loads of really, really good comments, but because she has been, well, I don't know the right word for this, she has to take herself off social media. That's too far. What are people saying? Do we have any idea of how bad this is, or?
Well, apparently the reason why they've kicked off is because, according to some people on Twitter, Ruby Rose hadn't publicly identified herself as a lesbian. Therefore, it made her a poor choice for the role of Batwoman, who is out and proud. Now, Ruby Rose commented on this and said, "Where on earth did, in air quotes, Ruby is not a lesbian, therefore she can't be Batwoman come from?" she asked. Then she went on to say, "I came out at 12, and I have for the past 5 years had to deal with she's too gay. So how do you all flip it like that? I didn't change." So I think that was her last tweet, and then she's walked away from Twitter. Apparently she's still on Instagram because she's like doing a lot of promotional stuff for the Meg at the moment because she's in that.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Well,
it's a fine film.
Well, also linked into this, Jack Whitehall, English comedian, has been cast in the next Disney film as a gay character where he isn't gay, and people have kicked off about this. That it's
Yeah, they've cast a straight actor as a gay character.
Yeah.
Listen, anyone who is an actor of any kind should have the range to portray any role, be that straight or gay or superhero or Disney character. It doesn't matter. So I really cannot understand why people are so against a person an actor who is also an action actor who also happens to be gay. Why can they not have her cast as a gay action superhero? I don't understand it, James.
No.
What's wrong with the world?
It's crazy, mate.
It's crazy, man. I don't want to rest on this too long because it gives a voice to people who are not tolerant.
Yeah.
Let's skip on. I am excited to see Ruby Rose as Batwoman.
This is going to be awesome.
Right.
Absolutely awesome.
This we are going to very briefly touch on.
Ooh.
This literally is in here because it might get Nate's juices flowing if he listens, which he probably won't.
Oh, he should.
Well, of course he should, but he won't because you know what he's like. He's the worst.
He is
Anyway,
worse.
Anthony Mackie, who you may remember, James, as
Birdman
or something. Falcon, obviously, in the MCU. He has been cast. He's going to star in Netflix Altered Carbon Season 2. So what do you know about Altered Carbon, James?
I know that Nate likes it.
Nate likes it. I watched it. I liked it as well.
That's about it.
So basically, in Altered Carbon... So the character he's going to play is a guy called Takeshi Kovacs, who in Season 1 was played by two guys. One was... an Asian American actor whose name I've forgotten right now. The other one was a guy called Joel Kinnaman. I only know that because I'm reading off the internet here.
Yeah.
Who played RoboCop in the RoboCop remake, by the way.
Yes, he did.
So in the world of Altered Carbon, people have what are called sleeves,
Yep.
right? And they can have their memories taken out of one sleeve and placed into another one, so people can live for a long, long time. Very rich people can live forever. Less rich people, so that maybe like middle class or upper middle class people, if you go in for that whole caste system, might be able to live one additional life.
Okay.
So what this is I think the Altered Carbon is based on some books, and Takeshi Kovacs' character in those books lives over hundreds of years. So what they're doing is quite clever, really. They're just going, do you know what? That sleeve's gone.
We'll bring another
Got
one
a
in.
new sleeve, and that new sleeve is Anthony Mackie. I like Anthony Mackie. I think he's a fine actor. I think he can do some good stuff with action. I think his comedic timing is great, which there wasn't an awful lot of comedy, don't get me wrong, in the first series. And if I remember correctly, I don't think there was anything funny at all about the first series.
Right, okay.
However, bringing in a star like Anthony Mackie would lend itself to maybe doing something slightly different. Like, he could do the action stuff, but he can hit the comedic beats as well if required. So I think this will be fun. This will be good. It's coming to Netflix in the future. Who knows when?
Got to get Netflix.
Got to get Netflix, mate. Got to get Netflix. Right. Next two pieces of news I have. I want to ask you: do you want good Star Trek news first or bad Star Trek news first? What do you want? So it's a classic good news, bad news situation.
I would like to go with the bad news and then the good news to cheer me up.
Good, because that's exactly how I've got it presented right here. So I don't have to roll around anything at all.
Yeah, you don't have to scroll down.
So bad news first. Apparently a rumour has been reported by The Hollywood Reporter, who apparently get this sort of thing right, that actors, Chris's Pine and Hemsworth, who play Captain James T and Lieutenant George Kirks, respectively, have both walked away from the negotiating table for the next Star Trek film, which is Star Trek 4. Good. Star Trek is the fourth one, whatever it's going to be called.
I don't know what it is either.
So we're going to get into this in a little bit of nerd scene because you've watched some Star Trek movies recently.
Yes, I have.
However, in the 2009 reboot, retcon, whatever you want to call it, alternate take on Star Trek done by J.J. Abrams, George Kirk was given control of the USS Kelvin, I think, because it's the Kelvin timeline, and he had control of it for 15 minutes or so, and then died. But as he was dying, his wife gave birth to James T. Kirk, who was played by Chris Pine. So they've said that Star Trek 4 is going to have these guys back, and there's going to be some timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff going on, and it might reset things. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
You know?
That's
I've not heard that sci-fi phrase, the time travel
absolutely
before.
Scientific.
That's a Doctor Who thing.
Oh, you should have put quantum in front of that. And then
I should have put quantum in front of that. Do you know what? Do I want to read?
No.
Yeah, I think I do. Hang on. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so the story goes, they're not getting the money they want to play these characters, so they have, I don't know if it's a joint thing or if it's just something they've done on their own, they've walked away from the table. Now, I personally think that this is a negotiation tactic that they are doing to get a bit more money out of Paramount. And do you know what? If that's the case, fine. This is their job. You know, if you were offered a new job, James, you're going to negotiate on that new job, aren't you? You're not just going to go, yeah, do you know what? I'll do it. What are you offering? Oh, that's fine. You know, I'll take it.
But if I've got a contract already, I can't just expect to go in and change my money.
But I don't know that they have. No, they might have, and I'm not going to go deep enough into this story.
Well, it says here the outlet claims that talks ultimately broke down due to money, as Pine and Hemsworth wanted the studios to stick to their existing deals for the project. However, it appears Paramount is now going back on those apparent deals. So, if I signed up to get paid a certain amount of money,
and they weren't paying you that amount of money,
then I would say to myself, well, why would I want to do this?
If Paramount want to make a Star Trek 4, which will make a lot of money, they're going to have to stump up the cash to get these guys back. It's as simple as that. I don't think there's anything else you can say.
Are the Star Trek films making lots of money?
Well, the reboot, that's a good question. Just, I'll tell you what, just read more bits of the story whilst I look that up.
Well, I think that's probably I would have thought that would have something to do with it. Why would a studio want to negotiate and pay somebody less? Because they're probably not expecting the film to do as much as they want it to do. And to be honest, I'm completely with the two Chris's on this.
You're with the Chris's, are you?
If the story is true, if someone says to me, I'm going to get paid £100 to do something, and then they're going to say, we're only going to give you a tenner, I'm going to be a little bit peed off.
You are going to be a little bit peed off, aren't you?
I'm 90 quid short. I can't go out on tiles.
Right, okay. What I'm looking for here is the Star Trek. I'm on Box Office Mojo, and I'm looking for Star Trek series. Here we go. Right.
Well, they're just saying that the Paramount are now going back on their deals in order to reel in the budget, as the Star Trek franchise doesn't perform nearly as well as either of the actors' respective DC or Marvel projects.
Yeah, but they're completely different things. Star Trek will always have an audience. People will always go and watch it. True. All they've got to do is make things that are equal to or better than what we're getting from the Star Trek's TV shows. If they can't do that, then fine. But listen, the Star Trek movies that have come out, it has been a case of diminishing returns, because the original Star Trek reboot from 2009, it grossed $257 million. That's gross.
Yeah.
Into Darkness grossed $228 million. And then Star Trek Beyond grossed 158 million.
Yeah.
So okay, I do see that it's a case of diminishing returns. But if you look at them compared to the other Star Trek films that have been in the franchise, and I'm talking original crew now and then next gen crew, it's made more money than all of them. All of them.
Yeah, but
those three films.
But how much are these boys earning? We don't know the detail. So if it's going to be like a phenomenal amount and the studio is only going to make a profit of 10%, well, is that good enough on their returns?
That's a good question.
Just
a good question.
It out there.
What do people think? Who knows?
Yeah.
Let us know. So, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Yes.
It's from Doctor Who, okay? So there's an episode called, featuring the aliens, the Weeping Angels. What they do is they touch you. Brilliant. They're statues.
Yeah.
They might be quantum locked, so actually they can't move whilst they're being looked at.
Yes, I know this one. Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen
so
this
the doctor says in a series of DVD Easter eggs that people assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually from a non-linear, non-subjective point of view, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. So there you go.
Brilliant.
Now
Thank you,
know.
Ben. I genuinely thought you just made this up.
No, I'm not that good.
No.
And I obviously don't read news stories that well. See, this is why we need Nate. Maybe he's back to the negotiating table now,
as I said to you earlier, if you had let me know a little bit earlier, I could have done some revision like I like to do. But let's take this off air, because I don't want to have this discussion right now.
I'm going to edit this out.
Right.
I'm not going to edit this out. Right, next bit of news then. So this is your next bit of Star Trek news, which is potentially good news.
Yeah.
This is the bit that Nate actually messaged us when he saw it wherever he is in the world.
Yes, he did.
Somewhere in America.
Yeah.
Star Trek Discovery has finally cast its young version of Spock. I say young version of Spock. He's still adult Spock. It says Star Trek Discovery has cast Ethan Peck in the iconic role of Spock in the second season of the CBS all-access drama. Best known for his roles in 10 Things I Hate About You and I Ship It. The 32-year-old actor is the grandson of Hollywood legend Gregory Peck.
Wow.
Now, what do you think, JB? Because if you look at the picture that's on this website of this guy, and if you haven't seen that, I'm looking at the CBR.com
I'm
website.
all over that.
Ethan Peck. Do you know what?
He looks a bit like Zach.
He looks a bit like Zachary Quinto and a little bit like Leonard Nimoy. I reckon they should cast this guy as Spock. Well, what do you know they have? One thing I would say is that he's got, if you look at his hair in this picture, he's got quite bouffant, curly hair, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Spock doesn't have that.
He's gonna get
Spock has a straight bowl cut.
He's gonna have to get the basin around that bad boy.
Well, not only that, he's gonna have to straighten his hair, isn't he? Or maybe wear a wig.
Could do. I mean, there's
The only reason I mentioned straightening his hair is because you used to straighten your hair, and I want people to know that.
I didn't. I heard it. I wasn't listening to it, so I just thought that I wouldn't say. I'm not into Star Trek Discovery. I've not watched any of it yet. I know that, as we said, Nate absolutely loves it.
Yes, he does.
One of his favourite shows.
I like Discovery as well. I thought it was great.
This could be an epic pick. Let's just see how it rolls out.
So, executive producer Alex Kurtzman said, through 52 years of television and film, a parallel universe and a mirror universe, Mr. Spock remains the Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock, not Dr. Spock.
No,
people
he hasn't got his
say.
doctorate yet.
Excuse me. Mr. Spock remains the only member of the original bridge crew to span every era of Star Trek. The great Leonard Nimoy, then the brilliant Zachary Quinto, brought incomparable humanity to a character forever torn between logic and emotion. We searched for months for an actor who would, like them, bring his own interpretation to the role, an actor who would, like them, effortlessly embody Spock's greatest qualities. Beyond obvious logic, empathy, intuition, compassion, confusion, and yearning, Ethan Peck walked into the room inhabiting all these qualities, aware of his daunting responsibility to Leonard, Zach, and the fans, and ready to confront the challenge in the service of protecting and expanding on Spock's legacy. In that spirit, we're thrilled to welcome him to the family. Now, those are some
big words.
Those are some big words there, man. Those are some really big words. I hope this guy didn't drop a brick. I hope he's great. I'm sure they've seen something. When they cast these things, what they do is they get them reading from scripts against other actors who are already part of the show. So what they might have done is they might have got him to read some of Spock's lines from like the original series or from the movies or something like that. And they were probably like, yeah, do you know what? This guy's nailed it. He looks the part and he knows the character.
Yeah.
So do you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I haven't seen Ethan Peck in anything. I haven't seen him in 10 Things I Hate About You.
I don't remember him.
And I don't even know what I ship it is.
And careful how you say that.
I ship.
Yeah.
Ship.
Nice.
It.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, that's the end of the news, JB.
Great news.
Should we do some nerd scene?
Okay.
Nerd scene. So, following on from the Star Trek news that we've just discussed, and now we're in nerd scene, of course.
Yeah.
Nerd scene is, of course, where we are nerds and we have seen things. So, scene is the word S-C-E-N-E, but it's a play on the word S-E-E-N, where we are nerds and we have seen something, but it's a scene within something. Do you know what I'm saying? So did I explain that as good as Nate does? Or did I...
Actually, I think I get it.
Do you? Because I think I lost myself halfway through there.
There's a lot of scene.
Anyway, Star Trek Into Darkness, you watched it.
I did, yeah.
What did you think?
What did I think? I enjoyed it.
Right, good.
I thought it was good.
Did you think it was as good or better or worse than Star Trek 2009?
I preferred Star Trek 2009.
Okay.
I thought a lot of it was a bit more believable. There were lots of... I don't know. I thought there's a scene, and I don't know if this was in news, where Kirk is with Peter Weller's daughter, and she's just getting changed. And I thought, you don't really need that scene.
Yes.
Why did you need that?
There was some criticism when the film came out about overly sexualised content that didn't need to be there.
She was hot, fair enough, but I didn't need to see that.
She's a very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She's also a very fine actress.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But
was there a reason for her to be in her space bra and pants on the big silver screen?
No, don't know.
Probably not.
No. I liked the conflict.
Carol Marcus. That's her name. Sorry, I've been thinking since you brought her up. Shit, what's her name? Shit, what's her name?
I did. I thought I really liked the story. I was wondering where old Benedict Cumberbatch, how he was coming into it and his role, and that all came together quite nicely. Mm-hmm. Peter Weller's character as well was just a nasty piece of work, but then rocked up in this badass spaceship that they were like, yeah, we're in warp drive now. They can't catch us.
Yes, they can.
And they can fire photon torpedoes.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, I quite like the fight scene between Khan and Spock. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was good.
I liked seeing Spock's humanity.
It also actually showed you how double hard Spock is.
Yeah, but I liked the bit where at the start where Kirk was talking with Spock and they were saying, I did this for you, trying to save him, and it was against the Prime Directive, and he asks him to show him some more humanity. And so when Kirk goes into, I mean, everyone's seen this film, so do I need to do hashtag spoilers?
Oh well, hashtag spoilers, but go ahead.
But when the Enterprise is falling to Earth and Kirk has to go and restart the warp core engine or whatever it is, he knows he's going to die from radiation. He gets chucked in. Spock's running down to engineering. And you're just kind of like, do you know what? I felt a bit emotional.
I mean, okay, so a couple of things with Star Trek Into Darkness.
I'm going to breathe now as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, take a breath. You know, it's a spin on Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
Yeah. So in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan,
absolutely.
It's Spock who gives his life for the crew. You know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Yeah.
So Spock sacrifices himself in the most illogical way possible, but showing his humanity.
Yep.
So in this, they flip it.
Yeah.
This is the first time that Khan shows up.
Yeah.
In this universe, obviously in the original series universe, they met him in the series.
Yep.
Marooned him on a planet. I can't remember the name of it right now, but they went back to that planet in Star Trek 2, and Khan was still there, basically.
Yeah.
So when Benedict Cucumber Snatch was cast, everyone was like, well, he's Khan.
Yeah.
He's Khan.
Yeah.
And then was like, no, he's this new guy called John Adams, I'm going to call him, but it's probably something different.
Yep.
And he's
John
enigmatic. Spoilers for later. And he's enigmatic, and he's got an agenda, but he could be good, but he could be bad. He's definitely not Khan. And the film started, and he was Khan.
Yeah.
And he went, I'm Khan.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, okay, well, we all saw that coming. I remember going to see this film, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
However, I think on repeat viewing, I remember thinking it's not as Star Trek as maybe it should have been.
Fair enough.
But do you know what it is? It's a fine sequel to a great movie.
I thought it was good.
There you go. Good stuff. What else did you watch? You watched something... you watched something that really hit you hard, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Definitely. You know I loves an HBO documentary.
You do like an HBO documentary,
I love it,
don't
mate. So I watched Robin Williams' Come Inside My Mind.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And it was enlightening into his character as he was seen and perceived by the outside world, but then having his close friends detailing the challenges that he had.
Because he wasn't a manic depressive, I don't think, was he?
Well,
but he did suffer from depression. Is that right?
Interesting. They never mentioned it to that fact, but because he was a performer and he was a comedian, all he wanted to do was make people laugh. And the show opens up where he's being interviewed, because the way his comedy routine worked, he was just so quick. He was able to think of things so fast. Obviously,
his brain's always working at a million miles an hour, isn't it?
And I think it took a lot out of him to be that enigmatic and energetic.
And did he? Correct me if I'm wrong, but did people say that he felt a responsibility to always be that way around people?
Yeah, I think so. They were interviewing his son and his family. I mean, I didn't even realise. I think he had like 3 children. And his son was like, "Well, I know what my dad was, and sometimes I wanted him around, and he wasn't." And yeah, it was. You could just see his struggles through his life, through his marriage, then getting remarried, his kids. John, his close friend, I want to say John Belushi, I think that's right, who died of an overdose. He saw him that night. He was heavily into drugs at the time. It would coincide. That was when it really kicked off with Mork and Mindy. I don't know if you remember that.
I watched Mork and Mindy.
He just went stratospheric. It was mental, and just was now mingling with people who wanted to be with him. He then
hangers on.
Yeah,
more hangers on than
talked
friends.
About his health. And everything else like that, and then came up to the point where sadly he took his life, and it was hard hitting. It was really, really well documented and shot. It was using lots of footage,
Hmm.
lots of interviews of his friends. It was fantastic. I would definitely recommend if anyone's. I mean, if you're not interested in Robin Williams, I mean, he is a great comedian, a fantastic actor. Even though his first film Popeye was an absolute flop, but later on in sort of Dead Poets Society and even like Mrs. Doubtfire, absolute
he's
brilliant.
a fantastic actor. He's got incredible range. He obviously he's funny, but he can play serious really, really well. There's a film called 1 Hour Photo.
Just about to say that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. But interesting. So he plays this really unhinged character.
Something.
Yeah,
I think.
But they were showing him as the character, and then when they were recording outside of the film,
Yeah.
they were just showing how Robin was and how he was trying to make people laugh. And in fact, that was one of the things that came out of Mork and Mindy. You needed to have a camera on him all the time. So comedies at that time, I think, were shot with 3 cameras.
Right.
They brought in another camera to purposely follow Robin Williams whilst he's doing that, because he would just go off and do things.
Right.
And it was just really funny, and they had to have it. He did a massive show I forgot, my memory. It was like an hour and a half of just him doing stand-up. And his friend and sort of manager at the time said there was 25% of the show that he had never seen before.
Really?
That he had just made up.
That's quite incredible, really, because a lot of stand-up comedians, a lot of their act is stuff that they've done before and they've perfected over a series of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And every now and then they throw in some new stuff. Like Peter Kay gets a lot of criticism, I think, for his stand-up has been the same for like 15 years or so. Or not that I think he's done stand-up for 15 years, maybe. But, people always criticise the fact that, well, not criticise, but always comment on the fact that most people stand up once. If you've seen it once, the next time you go and see them, you're probably going to see the exact same thing again.
Yeah.
So to have just 25% fresh material that not even his manager had seen before,
It's absolutely unbelievable.
It's incredible, really.
Yeah, incredible guy.
Robin
Absolutely
Williams,
brilliant.
Come Inside My Mind. It's an HBO documentary. I'm guessing it's on Sky Atlantic, is it, JB?
You may have ticked all the boxes.
Well, there you go. Yeah, maybe I'll check that one out.
I will do.
Maybe I'll check that one out.
I've got one more thing that I've just finished watching as well.
Go on then.
Channel 4, Meet the Drug Lords, Inside the Real Narcos. So this is... a guy presenting this is Jason Fox. He used to be in the SAS. You may remember him from another TV show on Channel 4, where SAS recruits, where they put members of the public through hell, basically. I know I definitely couldn't do this.
Didn't you have a book with this chap's face?
Yes, I'm
in a
reading
meeting?
Anthony somebody. Can't remember his
Doesn't
name.
matter.
But this was really interesting. Him going and basically being accepted into the groups and finding how these narcos were working, and the exploitation of cocaine, and how it starts from the real poor areas in Peru and then going up through how all these people are making money. So there's a guy making a slab of cocaine and selling it for £150. Okay?
Bloody hell.
When it goes into the UK, it will be sold for 1,000 times more than that.
What?
And it takes him to...
How does that even work?
Exactly. It's crazy. I thought it was really, really interesting. There's some horrific stuff in there. He talks obviously about Pablo Escobar, one of Pablo Escobar's close friends who's recently been released from prison. He was talking to him about being a hitman and what he was doing and how it was affecting his life.
What's the word for hitman?
Oh,
Sicario.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Thanks.
Okay.
Really good show.
That's on Channel 4, is it?
It was. It's just finished. I really enjoyed it.
It's probably on that. What's it called? The 4 on demand service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
What was it called again?
I've just forgotten it. Why are you doing that to me?
The Real Narcos.
The Real Narcos. Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Whatever. Good. I finished that show I talked about last week, The Americans.
Yeah.
It's completely finished now. Not just the end of season 5 or 6, whatever it was.
Done.
It's all done. It's finished. The last episode was really hard hitting.
Right.
Really hard hitting.
Are we doing spoilers?
No, I'm not doing
tapping
spoilers
out?
for that. If you want to spoil it for yourself, go and look at it. Look it up on the internet, because you could.
No.
But if you are interested in a Cold War spy drama, for the love of God, check out The Americans. The guy who wrote it, whose name I can't remember right now, but he used to be, I think, in either the FBI or the CIA.
Right.
One of the two. I think it's probably the FBI.
Yeah.
And he had to get approval on all of his scripts.
Did he?
I think, if I remember
Wow.
this correctly, before they could show it, because they were like, well, you can't give away any secrets because they're still secrets. That's why they're called secrets.
Yeah.
So I think he had to get some approval. But the story weaves in and out of real life events, and it's fantastic. It's really, really good. I loved it. I also finally, months and months and months ago, even last year, the We Have a Hulk pod, Nicola from We Have a Hulk pod, said that she got this comic book called Star Wars Captain Phasma, or Phasma, I think it's called.
Right.
And it's what happened to Captain Phasma after Star Wars The Force Awakens and before Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Right.
And it sort of explains how she got out of her trash compactor, what she did, what she had to do. It was like a 4-comic run. Nicola read it, said it was really good, and if anyone wanted to borrow it, let her know. And myself and Dave from Jack and the Geeks Talk, we all put our hands up electronically on Twitter and went, "No, we'll borrow it." So Dave read it and then sent it to me, and I finally read it.
Well
and it's
done.
bloody great.
Awesome.
It was real good. Real good. It's a very simple story. The artwork is beautiful, and it just completely fills you in on what Phasma did, how she did it, and how badass she is, because she's proper badass, mate. And I mean badass.
It didn't come across in the films like that, though, does it?
No, and I think that's a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah, I think that's a big loss.
Bit of a shame. Anyway, I think that's the end of our nerd scene.
Yep.
Now, we are going to play for you an edited, and I do say edited because I edited out any gaps or when Nate went, for about 5 seconds.
Oh, really?
A clip of Nate and the Italian and their update on their Deep South Tour 2018.
Have they seen anything, though, apart from a beautiful place, or are they watching any telly?
When you say seen anything, do you mean what have they... Oh, no. But they've seen things,
Yeah.
but seen in the word S-E-E-N, not seen in the word S-C-E-N-E, which is a play on the word S-E-E-N.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, it'll all become apparent very soon.
It's time for Nate and the Italians update on the Deep South Tour 2018.
Hello everybody, this is Nate and the Italian for our second check-in. The noise you can hear in the background, the noises, might be a little bit of splashing of water and some bugs, because we are sat currently in our jacuzzi looking out upon Mount LeConte. Is it Mount LeConte? I'm getting a nodded head.
Yeah.
And there are some cicada bugs out there chirping away. So last time we left you we were in Wilmington, I think. We were in Elijah's having dinner.
Yeah.
What did we do the next day? We stayed in Wilmington,
We went on a boat ride.
went up and down the Cape Fear River.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, so I saw the docks where Iron Man 3 was filmed,
Yeah.
and we saw the USS North Carolina. That was pretty cool. We had some more food in Wilmington, and then the next day we travelled a long way from North Carolina down into
South Carolina.
but we stopped along the way at south of the border. Oh my gosh, so much to remember.
Sorry.
So we stopped in a place called south of the border, which is literally just south of the North Carolina South Carolina border, which is like Mexican themed. It had like,
Craziness.
it was like restaurants and shops and reptile places and rides, and
It was really weird.
it was really weird, but it was really cool that we stayed there. And then went to Greenville, which was really, really nice, South
Yeah.
Carolina. Greenville's the sort of place that you want to move to in America. Beautiful town. We had a dinner in a place called Sobeys, which is definitely the best food we've had yet.
Yeah, and the man was really nice.
Yeah, it was really
so
cool.
good. Our hosts were really nice.
Oh yeah, we want them to be our new parents. That was
Oh my god, that's really horrible.
second parents.
Like American parents.
Yeah, American parents.
Well,
I didn't
we
even,
live in
we love our
America.
parents, but
Um,
so we were in Greenville for a couple of days.
Yeah,
That was nice.
it
We
was
played with
very nice.
there's some goats there, some cows,
dogs.
and then after that we went to Asheville, which is then in North Carolina, which the Italian you really liked, but I thought it was a bit pretentious.
Well, I didn't really like it. I just said, oh, it's not too bad. compared to our first evening now.
The first evening was really bad. We went to have dinner and everywhere was fully booked, and it chucked it down with rain, and we were
but
just
like
walking up and
proper
down. Yeah, it was
pouring with rain.
like the streets
Like,
were running, rivers running,
Yeah.
and we were just in a city we didn't know. It was not a good
we
night.
couldn't find anywhere to eat, so we
Yeah.
got soaking, and then we
Yeah.
ended up in some awful fast food place.
Yeah, it was horrid. It was a bad night. But then the second day was okay in Asheville. It was
yeah,
fine.
then
It was
redeemed
nice.
itself.
It was.
slightly.
It was.
had lots of quirky shops.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, if you know Devon, it's a little bit like Totnes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like fun and quirky and arty, but I wasn't so keen on them necessarily. But
No.
yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
Just after Greenville, after the greatness of Greenville, how nice that was.
Yeah, Greenville's like real clean and fresh looking, and yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I could live there
Yeah.
quite easily.
So then from Asheville, in Asheville we were the goats, the place we were staying.
Oh yeah, the little baby goats.
What were they like?
Nigerian
No.
pygmy.
Yeah, pygmy goats. And there were ones that were 5 weeks old, and we didn't
Yeah.
realise how
Oh.
loving and playful
They were
goats
so
were.
cute.
But
So
they were
cute.
really lovely, climbing all over us. They just wanted, like, one fell asleep in your arms.
Yeah, she fell asleep in my arms. Yeah,
That was the cutest thing ever.
it was.
And then where did we go from Asheville? We left there and we went
Came here to the mountains.
to Kinderlands. On the way, we went to did we go Chimney
yeah, we
Rock
went
somewhere?
to
When did we
Chimney
go to
Rock,
Chimney
yeah.
Rock? On the way?
On the way here.
Yeah, on the way here. Chimney Rock.
No, we did. Yeah, we did.
I'm confused.
No.
Chimney Rock is where Last of the Mohicans was filmed, and just down from there is Lake Lure,
Where did we
which is
go?
where Dirty Dancing was filmed.
Well, we went to Mount Mitchell on the way
And
to
then
Asheville.
yes, so then we went to Mount Mitchell as well, and that was on the way out, which is the highest mountain east of the Mississippi. Then we got to Gatlinburg, which is where we are now, and we went horse riding.
Yeah. Nearly died.
Yeah, the
It's not
Italian,
funny, I actually nearly died.
Italian's horse got real close to the edge.
edge.
Yeah, it was real. That was a bit scary, but it was good otherwise. It was relaxing and
Oh, it was
nice.
fine.
Yeah, I was on
I've got
Dixie.
bad
Yours
saddle
was Dotty, Spotty,
Dotty.
Yeah, and then we got here.
Oh, and I dropped my glasses as well on the horses.
You did. That was, yeah. If it was going to happen to anyone, it was going to happen to you.
Yeah.
And then since we've been here, so we've been here a few
hold
nights
on.
now. What?
When we got here,
Oh,
after about an hour of sitting in the hot tub,
Yeah. Some bears jumped out. Literally leapt out of the bushes next to us.
and just walked next to us.
Yeah, black bears. As a mum and a baby. And
Freaked out.
yeah, it was pretty freaky. And
Thought it was
then
gonna kill me.
so that was the first day. Then the next day we went to Gatlinburg town proper, and that's
Yeah.
really touristy but fun.
Well, the Anarchista thing was lovely. That's brand new.
So Anarchista's like a ski lift that goes up the mountain.
And it
there's
kind
a-
of, there's like a memorial thing up there because of the massive wildfires here.
Yeah, in
a couple of years
2016,
ago.
yeah, there was huge fires. Millions of pounds worth of property was damaged, and
Yeah.
it was really bad. But it's bounced back. Town's bounced back. It's good. Anarchista was great. So there was a little village up there, wasn't there? And we had
Yeah,
some
it was
lunch
real
and
Pretty.
pretty. And then yeah, Gatlinburg, which was really
Oh, I saw
touristy.
some more bears then
So
that day.
yeah, we did. That's right. Yeah. What did we do in Gatlinburg? We had moonshine.
yeah.
We tried moonshine. 13 different types of moonshine. Yeah, that was good.
I didn't have the really bad one.
No, that I could taste that in my teeth.
I would have
It was
vomited.
yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
What else did we do there?
We went to the Bear restaurant and had German sausage and schnitzel.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, just so huge.
Oh, the portions are massive. And then, hang on, what did we do the next day after that? We went to Cade's Cove. How do you say it?
Cade's Cove.
Cade's Cove. And so we saw bears there.
Cade's Cove.
So we saw
yeah, and
4
we
bears
got-
there?
Yeah, there was one that we got up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, it was really early.
and it was really misty, but we were like hardly anyone was there.
Yeah, so Cade's Cove is it's wilderness, but there's like a loop road they've designed so that you can drive around and see elk
Wildlife.
and deer and bear.
Yeah, so it's
and-
all wild.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a zoo or anything. It's literally just you turn right onto a road
See
and there
what
you are.
can see in the mountains.
Yeah. So we saw.
Yeah, we saw one bear that ran away. You thought it was a man in a suit.
Yeah, it did. It looked silly. Yeah.
Then I was too scared to go on a walk because I thought a bear was going to kill me,
Yes, you were.
which it could.
You couldn't really run away. And then we drove around some more, and we saw people looking up in the trees, and we stopped down. You got out. We're not supposed to get out, but we did. And there was a bear, a mama and a cub in the tree, and they came down when we were there.
Yes, so
And-
I ran because I thought it's coming down to kill us.
And I stood there and filmed it, and it got close to me, and then
And
loads of people came
yeah,
out.
And then I went back because I thought, okay, it's not killed him yet. So
Yeah. And then the ranger came and shouted at everyone, and we jumped in our car and
I
drove
drove
away.
really quickly.
And then we went around the loop a little bit again. There's a little cut-off bit you can go down. We went down there because a chap had said that there was other bears, and we saw the other bear, didn't we?
Just wandering along the road.
So that's
And
8
loads
bears.
of deer
Yeah,
that
tons
just didn't even move when you were next to them.
They're so used to cars, I think. They're really pretty. That was Case Cove.
Oh, and loads of turkey.
Oh yeah, wild turkey, yeah.
That's gross.
And they've got like old churches and huts and things because people lived there and moved
Yeah.
there in the 1830s and things, didn't they? So that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then we came back to the cabin, been here for a bit. Then today we went to Dollywood, which is Dolly Parton's theme park.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was really good. They've got like roller coasters and rides
Yeah,
and
there were
experiences
quite a lot of
and
roller coasters there, actually. the theme
shows and shops and
park.
shows. There
Shows.
was one roller coaster we were going to go on, but we were a couple of steps away from going on, and the fire alarm went
And
off.
the fire went off, so we were evacuated, so that was really exciting.
Yeah, but then we went on one after that, which was super fast, rattled my
It was
head.
awful.
I loved it.
I think I got like lost brain cells from it.
Yeah, and now we're so we've come back here, and now we're here. What have we got coming up?
Tomorrow we might go
Mountain?
to Parrot Mountain to look at some parrots, and
Which
we're
it sounds
going
stupid,
to
but it is. Yeah,
the museum that I've been waiting to go to all my life.
the Titanic Museum, and then we're going to a Dolly Parton Stampede show, so
Dinner show.
Dinner show.
Showing my dinner.
And then after that we head on to Nashville. So we'll give you a recording when we've been in Nashville a couple of days. So that's probably it for now.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
So that was the update from the Italian.
Woohoo!
And Nate, I should say.
Yeah.
Nate and the Italian.
Yeah.
Shall we review Mission Impossible Fallout? We don't have to if you don't want to. But I want to.
Yeah, well, let's do it then.
Okay.
Well, you know, don't ask the question if you just want to do it.
All right, I'm going to do it.
Let's do it.
Well, it was a rhetorical question. Yes, I want to do it.
All right, let's do it then.
Right, Mission Impossible Fallout. Let's break this down into two sections. The first section is going to have one bullet point, and that is... No, I beg your pardon, it's going to have 2 bullet points. Your first impression of the film.
Yes.
How did it make you feel? And no spoilers in this point. And your review of the film.
Okay.
So Mission Impossible Fallout. Let me just do a very brief spiel on what the movie is and what it's all about. So just hold the line for me a second, please, caller, whilst I read this out to you.
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt and his IMF team, that's impossible
Yeah.
mission forces, along with some familiar allies, race against time after a mission goes wrong.
Oh dear.
Right. James, what did you think of this film? What was your first impression? Because when we walked out of the cinema, I didn't get the reaction from you that I thought I was going to get. So tell me what you thought of this movie. No spoilers at the moment.
No, okay. I think when I came out of the film, I think I was still digesting it because there's a lot to take
Oh
in.
my God, there's a lot to take in.
And it's not a short film. It's
No,
like
it's
two and
not.
it's 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
just shy of 2.5 hours. And yeah, I think it's adrenaline filled. There's times when you can take a breath, but it's not a very deep breath, and then you're off again.
Yeah,
so
you
I think
really are.
I felt like I was there.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I absolutely think that they absolutely smashed the film. It was really, really good. I liked all the characters' interactions.
Yep.
I liked how Cruise's Ethan was, and I don't want to do any spoilers, how he was.
Mm-hmm.
It was adrenaline filled. There was lots of cool scenes.
Mm-hmm.
There was lots of tension. I thought there was tension. There were some things I just thought, really? I mean, really? But
Well, actually, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff in the film, a lot of the stunts, not going into spoilers at this point, of course, but a lot of the stunts in the movie were actually performed in camera. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some things there that quite obviously didn't. But some of the times, the halo jump, for example,
Yep.
that was there are over 100 halo jumps performed by Tom Cruise and another guy filling in for Cavill and a cameraman where they jumped out of a plane.
Wow.
And filmed it all the way down.
Yeah, and
I
it's
mean,
not-
that is absolutely crazy that they did that.
And I
but
think
they
when
did
you
it.
know that, and the fact that Cruise did most of all his stunts, and the fact that he buggered up his ankle
Yeah,
on
oof.
set as well. So yeah, I think now that I've fully digested it,
Uh-huh.
I did really enjoy it. I thought it was epic, actually. And how did it make me feel?
How did it make you
Like I wanted to be in his team
You want to be part
because
of the crew.
I know he'd look after me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says that a fair bit in the film. I won't let anything happen to you.
Yeah.
I remember some people say to him, well how are you not going to let
He
anything
doesn't
happen to me?
know
He's
yet.
like, look, I'm working on it. I'm working on
I mean,
it.
I think that is. I mean, like I said, it's just sometimes you think the film says it's Mission Impossible, so it's going to be pretty difficult.
Damn right it is.
I mean, everybody wants to be a person that
Not
can
mission
do
difficult, it's
Yeah.
mission impossible.
mission challenges. But I think sometimes you're just like, come on, you can't do everything. But that's not what the film's about.
Yeah.
The film is about taking you out and just having a bit of a laugh and adrenaline rush.
I'm trying to. What did I say to you after we came out? It's. Did I say if you're a fan of Mission Impossible or a fan of action films, this is a wet dream for you,
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
Because it has absolutely. I think it's, for me, it's the best Mission Impossible film they've done. Absolutely nailed on. And for me, it's the best action film I've seen this year. And when I say this year, I'm looking you in the eye right now, JB. I'm including Infinity War here.
What?
I'm saying that this is a better action film than Infinity War. Not saying better all-round film, but
is
I'm saying the
Infinity War
action
an
in this
action
film.
film?
Well,
Is it same genre?
it's a superhero action film, isn't it, really?
Okay.
Whilst
I'm not
Infinity
questioning.
War may be a better all-round film, for if we're just talking about pure action,
Yeah.
Mission Impossible Fallout takes the prize for me. And I tell you what, with this new Oscar category, if it's out in time for next February, this is a contender for most popular film of the year. I don't think it will win. I think Infinity War will win. But this will be up there. It will be nominated, definitely.
Well, I'm going to say I think Infinity War is an adventure film,
Fantasy?
fantasy,
Superhero?
Yeah.
Sci-fi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not action.
You reading that from IMDb?
No.
Are there scenes in the movie that are what you would call action scenes?
But it.
But are there?
I don't know.
Are there?
Wait, I think.
Are you trying to outsmart me with IMDb?
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I'm just. What I'm trying to say is that I wouldn't say it was the same thing. If you were.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah, if you were comparing James Bond to Mission Impossible, then I would probably give you a little bit. Then I'd say that's closer.
That's the other thing I said. This is the movie that James Bond films wish they were. Now, I don't want to go into that too more in non-spoilers. I want us to score it, and then I want us to go and talk about some spoilery bits.
Okay.
So what do you want to do this week? Last week you did out of 5. Do you want to do out of 10 this week? Or did you do out of 5 last week? I've forgotten.
I'm going to keep myself, at the same level. I would give this a 4 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to score out of 10. And I'm going to say, as an action film goes, can't get much better.
Wow.
10 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
What bits did you like? And how did it make you feel? I don't think you've answered that yet, have you? Are we doing your bits?
Well, I've talked about it a little bit. I think I want to get into spoilers. I think I want
Is that
to
what you're
we're going to go further. I've just scored it. We can't go back. I've scored it. It's 10 out of 10 as an action film for me. We're going to go on.
All right,
We're going to go on. Let's do spoilers.
Do it.
So this is the spoiler section. I'll tell you what I thought. Should I tell you what I thought as a spoiler?
Yeah.
I thought this was an absolutely perfect action film.
Right.
Every single action beat, and I've counted, there's a pre-credits action scene, there's the Halo jump scene, there's the bathroom fight scene.
Which is my favourite.
There's a Paris escape, which is then broken down into a lorry escape, a bike escape, and a car escape, which ends with a boat escape.
Oh.
Yeah. Then there's a London foot chase. Then there's the ending scene for about 25, 30 minutes in Kashmir. Mate, this film had like 8 or 9 what you could sort of call separate action scenes.
Yep.
It was just incredible.
Yep.
It was absolutely incredible. I loved it.
They were all the scenes were done really, really well. The only thing that I will pull it up on is the bike scene where he crashes and
That would have killed that man dead.
It would have just. I mean, he hasn't even got a scratch on his face. He's got a little bit of a hobble,
Yeah.
but he's managed to get himself fit again.
Well, he's,
in quite a quick way.
He's Ethan Hunt, mate. He's Tom Cruise.
I know, but
He's powered by magic and madness.
Is.
Nothing can affect this man. Okay, let's go into the action scenes. So the pre-credits sort of action scene, which sort of sets up the film, where the nuclear bombs that they're trying to buy, or the plutonium cores, they get stolen by the
Apostles?
Syndicate / they're now called the Apostles. Why? Who knows? Who cares?
Who cares?
It is a bit of a crap name for them, but that's fine. So they steal these things. That scene felt very Bond-like, I thought, in the fact that everything was quite dark. It was a spy sort of thing. You had these bad guys who were nameless, who were like completely, expendable. Mm-hmm. They showed up. Sinister enough. The lead guy had like a Germanish sort of accent. She's like, oh yeah, this could be oh no, he's dead. Oh, never mind.
Move on.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. The Halo jump was
epic.
Breathtaking.
I really like that, and I mean, I think it summed up the description of Henry and Tom Cruise's characters in Difference, where Henry's was hammer, Ethan, Tom was scalpel.
Yes, that's very good.
It summed that. So Ethan looks out the back and goes, "Uh-oh, we've got a thunderstorm."
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm out there.
Just smash through it, mate. Let's go.
And so...
I do have to question, how likely is it? What are the odds of when jumping out of a plane like that you would get struck by lightning? I mean, if you're jumping...
in a cloud?
If you're falling through a lightning storm, it's probably pretty high, actually, I guess.
I wouldn't want to do it.
High enough. I wouldn't do it, yeah. But like you say, Henry Cavill's...
August Walker, that's the character.
August Walker. It's a great name. August Walker.
Yeah.
Great name.
Yeah.
Is it his name? We'll go on in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So that then leads into they sort of go into this club. Now, I don't know if you caught this, but
I want to go to that club. Can I just say, it looked amazing.
Sure.
Party time.
So the bathroom fight that they have, which you enjoyed, was great. I really enjoyed it as well. It seemed to go on and on and on, but it wasn't boring. It was just like, my God, what's going to happen next? That was incredible.
Yes. The character who they thought they were... trying to copy,
Kung Fu Man.
John Lark.
/ greatest Kung Fu man in the world.
Well, I've said about people being Nails before, but he was Nails.
He was Nails,
He was
wasn't
taking on two double-hard Muhammad Bruce Lee people. Yeah.
That was very good.
And he was beating them. I love the fact that, again... August Walker, when he gets knocked down, he's just like, I'm having enough of this, and kind of just shakes his arms, and he's just...
shotguns his arms, yeah.
Boom!
Apparently that was improvised.
Was it?
By Cavill, yeah.
Well, he did well on that.
I think it's possibly the finest bit of acting he's ever done, because other than that, he looks like someone's thrown a chair on the screen.
Oh.
I don't think he's like... Don't get me wrong, in action scenes, he's brilliant, and he looks the part. When he's talking... I'm not always convinced by what he's saying.
Oh, a bit
it
harsh.
does feel a bit wooden for me. But you know what? That's just my opinion. I'm just one man.
Yeah,
I'm
the fact
one
that
man.
but the fact that they're having an absolute battle and then they can't do anything, or they get close, and Ethan is close to being shot, and then who would come in and save his backside?
Who does come in, James, to save his backside?
I can never pronounce the name because it looks like Isla, but it's not Isla, is it?
Well, I don't think it's because you may or may not have someone close to you that has the same name.
Yeah.
I actually think it's Isla. Isla Faust is how I think it's pronounced in the film. But it doesn't matter. Do you know what's important, James? It's important that it doesn't matter.
No.
What happens is she sort of bookends that fight in the bathroom, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then they go off into the club to meet this
And
this
Ethan
White
doesn't
Widow.
know why she's there. It opens up another story. What's
White
going
Widow?
on?
Is that a name? Is that a name? The White Widow? Something like that, isn't it? Yeah, the White Widow.
Yeah,
so I don't know how much you caught of her little spiel that she was doing in the club, because they were there to honour her mother, Max. Did you catch that? Max was the arms dealer played by Vanessa Redgrave, who had dealings with Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, the first Mission Impossible, the one that ends on.
You are so cool, aren't you?
Well, I don't
You
know.
know-
Well, I mean, I'll accept your praise.
You
of
know,
course, James.
you're a timeline master.
I just noticed it. I noticed it, and if you listen to her voice as well, she sounds a little bit like how Max sounded in the first film.
Okay, cool.
So there's like a family resemblance there. Not that they're related in real life in any way at all. But that lady, the White Widow, whatever she's called, is played by Vanessa Kirby. She's great, I think. She doesn't really have enough to do in the movie, but I think she's probably going to be set up as a potential bad guy slash foil slash double agent slash triple agent in a future film.
Her voice is like velvet. It is so smooth. It's unreal.
Oh, keep it in your pants,
No,
JP.
not like that. It was just like unbelievable. Just the way she was talking, I thought it was fantastic.
So that leads on, and I'm very aware here that it seems like, the movie is not a film; it's actually a series of action scenes, and I want to address that a little bit because that was one of my problems that I had with Mission Impossible 2. Mission Impossible 2, they fleshed out the action scenes and then they built a story around it. And I think when you see that film, it's very obvious that they did that because the film, I don't know if you've seen it recently.
Is that the one with the motorbike scene at the end?
Yeah, I watched it a couple of weeks back before I went on holiday.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I hate it.
It is absolutely terrible. It could have derailed the franchise.
Yep.
Anyway, my point is, this film, whilst it may seem the same in the fact that it's a series of action scenes that sort of make up a film, I think that everything that is the plot that sort of interweaves around it, whilst you have to pay attention, I don't think if you're watching this at home, you couldn't be on your phone and watching it because I think you'd get confused.
Yep.
But I think it's coherent enough and it's simple enough that everything makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
not so simple that it's just, okay, go here, fight that bad guy, okay, go over there, chase that bad guy.
Interesting, I think. Yeah, you're right, but
Thank you.
The plot underneath that, where Ethan's almost is being played and being manipulated to do what the apostles.
This is John Lark and the apostles. Yes, yeah.
Are trying to achieve, and they, I think it looks like he's being played, but actually he's cotton onto it, and he knows that something's not right.
Yeah,
I like that.
We haven't actually gone over the story of the film, really, have we? But I don't know. I mean, the story is that these guys, the apostles, have stolen these nuclear cores and they're threatening to blow up 3 cities to change the world indefinitely.
Yeah.
And one of the things they want to do, the cities they want to blow up are all, I don't know if you sort of caught this as well,
Yeah.
they're all religious cities, and that's the old argument. You take away religion and the world wouldn't be at war. I mean, that's a point of view. I'm not entirely sure I completely agree with it.
Don't go there.
Let's not go there. But anyway, so that's what drives the film. They're trying to get these cores back. Now, someone turns up and says, to actually get these cores back, what you need to do is free the guy, because we don't want money, we want this guy given back to us. Solomon Lane, who was the bad guy from Mission Impossible, the 5th Mission Impossible.
And he is scary.
His voice is proper scary.
Yeah.
And that leads us on to this next action scene, which is where they are trying to free him from custody, smuggle him back out of Paris, and go from there. Now, Ethan obviously sort of leads on, he's playing a role here of John Lark. He said, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, we'll do this. Yeah, we'll kill everyone and do this. But of course, it wouldn't be an impossible mission forces. I keep on saying mission. What's going on? Wouldn't be an impossible mission forces Mission Impossible film without a double bluff.
Well, I think also, but the point you've made there is that Ethan doesn't want if he doesn't have to take a life, he doesn't want to. So
Absolutely.
This is like right in like you say, the opening scenes. They're about to trade off the money for the nuclear, the bits.
Yeah.
But his bro, his Luther, gets captured. He's not willing to take that risk.
The Man Mountain that is Ving Rhames. Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it, so he doesn't. He saves his team first, and that goes all through the film.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That
he's always willing to go the extra mile to protect everyone close to him.
Well, and not even just close to him. You take the bit at the end of all of these Paris escape scenes where they open up the garage doors. And
of course,
and the police, and the female police officer.
I like the fact that
you want to walk away.
That's another example of Ethan being a scalpel and Henry Cavill's character August Walker being a wrecking ball, sledgehammer, hammer, whatever you want to call it. Because Ethan was speaking to her in French, going that please just walk away, and he got his gun out and he was like, I'm just going to shoot her. I'm just going to shoot her because that'll get rid of her.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here. We need to smash through this. I'll just shoot her. And then when she was shot, I was like, shit, he did it. But it wasn't. It was the
other dudes.
It was the other dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who Ethan then
But I think
executed.
Yeah, exactly. They're bad guys.
Yeah.
They did a bad thing. Okay, if you're there, the
They
police
pay the ultimate price.
Yeah, it's like with the police. With the getting to break out Solomon, he doesn't want to kill all the police officers. He wants to do it a different way so that there is no loss of life.
What was your favourite part of that escape through Paris? Was it the lorry, the bike, the car? Which ended in the boat? They quite often do in a Mission Impossible scene where they sort of ride off looking cool in a boat. It happens a couple of times.
I think I'm going to have to say I liked the lorry because I thought it was... I thought initially when they were going down the lane, I thought they got stuck and they were like, oh dear, but then they had the motorbikes ready.
It was all part of the plan.
Yeah, it was. So I think I'm going to say the car. The bike was good, but it went on a little bit too long for me.
And I think the bike scene, there are certainly scenes in that where it's Tom Cruise riding that bike. 100%. Yep. I do think, though, obviously, there were scenes where, where they're riding around the great big roundabout where the Arc de Triomphe is in Paris, and he's riding against the flow of the traffic. Yeah. So that was CGI. It wasn't really filmed there. A lot of the times when you saw that bit, it was close up on the bike, so you didn't really see stuff in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I still think Tom Cruise did 90% of his own stunts in this film, probably more.
What a player.
What a player. What a player. Right. London, landing. So when the cards are sort of laid on the table and you think that actually Ethan's been set up, but again, it's all part of the plan. They're trying to make sure that, August Walker is who he says he is, or if he is actually John Lark. Spoilers, he's actually John Lark.
Did you call it? Did you know?
No.
Because I thought it.
No.
And after my first call it, that was completely wrong. I was too scared to tell you.
The only time I knew that Simon Pegg was sat in the chair wearing the face mask that was Solomon Lane.
Benji, yeah.
Was when he sort of did a Simon Pegg thing. Oh, what do you mean? What's going on?
No,
he did that in Solomon Lane's voice. And I was like, oh, it's Benji.
Yeah, I wondered whether they did that right on the off. I was kind of
but before that, I genuinely didn't think it at all.
Tom Cruise said, keep an eye on him.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Anyway.
Yeah, but, okay, so that leads into the London chase.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a little bit of a shame that old Alec Baldwin at this point gets
knifed,
filet-o-fished, but he does.
Yep.
So he's gone.
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt's bosses don't last very long. They really don't.
And he was gutted. It looked like Ethan was a bit gutted about it.
Yeah.
It's like to lose anyone, does he?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. So that led to the foot chase. Now, I think this was ingenious because a foot chase across London is, you've seen that 1,000 times. A foot chase where, for whatever reason, Henry Cavill's on the ground level and Tom Cruise just finds himself chasing over building tops and through... It was so well done. Well, it really was.
It was great. I think also the fact that Benji had the transmitter on him and didn't have the right views. And it was like,
sorry, I didn't. I had it on.
I'm looking at ground view.
Yeah, that's right.
I haven't got you on 3D.
Yeah.
I only had you in 2D. That was genuinely funny. And then once Ethan finally catches up with August, where he's hanging on the bottom of a lift.
Yeah.
And August looks down and says, and just gives him a photo, and you're like,
oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like,
so this is a photo of his wife.
Yeah.
Jules or Julia, whatever she's called, played by Michelle Monaghan or whatever she's called. Yeah.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Epic. Didn't see that, but he's having, interestingly, at the start of the film, Ethan's having flashbacks with marrying his wife.
Yes.
And
as a nuclear bomb goes off,
and all this sort of thing. So I thought that was good.
Right. That leads us to the ending.
Yes.
The massive ending in Kashmir. So this is where they've got one of the plutonium cores back. That's given to them by the White Widow. So that's as a show of good faith.
Yeah. So
they've only got 2 bombs to defuse. And hey, luckily enough, Jules' ex-wife is there with Luther, and then Isla is there with Benji. So they've got enough pairs of hands to defuse the 2 bombs.
Yep.
But they can only defuse the 2 bombs if they take the transmitter thing out of the detonator or whatever it is. And of course, Henry Cavill's got that in a helicopter, so Tom Cruise chases him down with another helicopter.
Well, first of all, you've got to. He climbs into the.
You're
helicopter.
absolutely right. He's got to
Good
climb
God.
in first, and then he falls, and then he climbs back in and kicks them both out. That was breathtakingly exciting.
It was.
It really was.
I mean,
because whilst you always knew he was going to do it, you never quite knew how successful he was going to be at doing it without causing serious injury to himself. I just thought it was great. I thought it was absolutely great. And Henry Cavill hanging out the back of a helicopter, firing that massive, great big M16.
Big guns.
Big gun. My God, I think I got aroused.
Oh, my.
So, whilst...
Wow.
I'm happy with my sexuality, James.
Cool.
Whilst I'll say that Henry Cavill might not be the best actor, my God, he's got some action chops. He really does. And hanging out of a plane, firing a machine gun, he looked amazing. He really did.
It was. I quite like the battle on, or the fights on 3 levels, so that all of his team were involved in that.
Yeah, so Ving Rhames is... and he's got quite a nice moment there as well, actually, with Tom Cruise's ex-wife, Luther.
Yep.
I say Tom Cruise, I mean Ethan Hunt's ex-wife in the movie.
Julia,
That's it.
Julia and Luther.
That's right.
But Luther mentions that he taught her everything he knows.
Yes.
And so the fact that she stays behind
With
and
Luther,
needed to do that help, the fact that Isla, whatever you want to call it,
Doesn't matter.
is looking for Solomon and then is having a fight.
Now,
and then
one thing I
Benji-
would say is that I like the fact that it was Isla Faust who defeated Solomon Lane. Benji does have beef with him because he strapped an explosive vest to Benji in Mission Impossible. I've done it again. Mission Impossible.
You've got a speech
5.
in Peppermint.
I do have a speech in Peppermint. You're right. Don't take the Mikey out of it. Anyway, so I would have liked to have seen Benji get his own back, but at the same time, it would have been completely out of character because whilst he is a field agent, he's not a double hard.
No, mate, it's like taking
I'm
a knife.
hard Muhammad Bruce Ali, whatever it is you
It's
say.
like taking
earlier
a
on.
knife to a gun party, innit? Won't happen.
Exactly. So I think it made sense for the world that the film sort of lives in that it was Faust who did kill Solomon Lane or capture him.
Capture him, there's no
They
killing,
didn't kill him, did they?
No, they tied him up. And then they both defused the bomb.
So they've captured him again.
Yeah, so and then at the end of the film, did you watch this film or not?
Of course I watched this film.
Yeah, were you too busy?
I was just too excited.
Too busy cleaning yourself up after the Henry Guns escapade. But yeah, basically
Wiping myself down.
Yeah, well, so Angela Bassett's character, Erica Sloane, then gives everybody back, and it's all happy-go-lucky, and we just wait for the next instalment.
Damn right. Yeah. Now, one thing I will say is I wanted the fight on top of the mountain with Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill to last 5 more minutes.
No.
Because it was done and dusted pretty quickly. But one thing I will say is that there is absolutely no doubt in my mind whatsoever that John Lark / August Walker / Henry Cavill is dead as a donut.
Oh, mate.
Because not only did he fall off of a mountain, he also fell off of a mountain with a steel hook through his head.
Yeah.
And then fell into an exploding helicopter at the bottom.
Yeah.
He dead.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to run that off with some paracetamol.
No. Maybe if he double teams it with some ibuprofen, maybe.
He's in a bit of trouble. But do you know what? I thought that it was a worthy way for his guy to go because he was a human wrecking ball. He had to go out in the most epic way possible, and I think his death was epic.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah, it's good.
Those are all the action scenes, which pretty much the entire film, as we said. But let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about some of the direction of the movie. So this is the second Mission Impossible film directed by Christopher McQuarrie, because he did Mission Impossible 5. It's also the third action film that he's directed starring Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Because he also did Jack Reacher.
Yes.
So has Tom Cruise found his favourite action director in Christopher McQuarrie? Because they seem to like each other quite a bit.
Could be a marriage made in heaven.
Could be.
The fact that he is... That it has happened and it's working so well, then why would you got a good recipe there.
Damn right.
So why not? Why would you change it? You wouldn't
Well,
put any vanilla essence.
So do you
in
think
it.
he'll be back for Mission Impossible 7?
Is that in the working? Is there? Is
Well,
there
it's not been announced, but come on, this film was so good
Yeah.
that, it probably is going to come out, right?
Well, maybe, but talking about all of your comments at the start of the show about people in age and things like that, will Cruise
Okay.
be able to do it?
So I have
mean,
a
you've
little-
got Indiana Jones, you've got Harrison Ford.
Come on, mate. Harrison Ford can't run. How can he play Indiana Jones anymore? It doesn't matter. We're not talking about that.
Yes.
I had a little chat with some of my fellow Geeks Talkers the other night.
Did you? How
So
was
the
that?
Geeks Talkers is a group that is set up by Jack and the Geeks Talk. It's on Twitter. If you want to be a part of it, just tweet Jack and the Geeks Talk, which is at Jack Geeks Talk, and they'll get you involved. Anyway, we were talking about this, and we were talking about how many more Mission Impossible films Cruise has got left in him, bearing in mind he is 56. So if another movie comes out, he's going to be getting close to 60. It could be that it's his last one, because I don't think they'll ever better this one with Cruise. How can they? So it could be that it's his last one, and whoever is also in the film, he sort of takes up the mantle from Cruise, because in the next one, Cruise dies, so that's why this big
Maybe
bad
it'd be-
guy, whoever it is a big bad guy. But don't worry, because
Faust?
Cruise's
Could be
protege
her taking it off.
could be Faust. She could do it. Why
She
not?
could, yeah.
Could be Simon Pegg.
No.
Nah, can't be Simon
Guaranteed
Pegg.
not.
Nah. But, I think Macquarie deserves to come back. I think this is probably going to be his most successful film that he's ever directed.
I
It's
agree.
definitely the best Mission Impossible film as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
So, yeah, let's do it. We've mentioned an awful lot of the actors and the parts that they play throughout the film as we've been talking about it. I will give a special shout out to Sean Harris's Solomon Lane, who doesn't have an awful lot to do in the film, but what he does do, he does sinisterly brilliant.
He scares the living out of me.
His voice is just so calculating, and I'm trying to do an impression of it,
It's
and
not
I'm
good.
not doing it
Yeah,
well.
you're not scaring me at all.
Your mission.
That wasn't that
should you
bad.
choose to accept it.
That's not that bad. I'll
Thanks, mate.
take it back. It's not as good as a TIE fighter that one of our friends can do, but it's not bad as an impression.
Thank you very much. I wanted to see more Vanessa Kirby in the movie, but like I said, I think she's been set up as a bad guy for a future film. Henry Cavill can do action scenes, but when he's talking, I'll say it again,
You're not sure about him, are you?
I just
didn't
think he's
realise
a
this.
little bit of a wooden chair.
Well, I think we need to. What does our boy Nate Turner think about?
I don't know. Let's ask him. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah,
Let us know.
can you let us know on Twitter?
That's right. Anything else you want to talk about Mission Impossible, James, where we wrapped it up? We've already scored it. I've given it a 10 out of 10. Best action film of the year for me. Best Mission Impossible film I've seen yet. You gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I would definitely say I liked Rogue Nation because I thought it was a little bit. There didn't seem to be as much action. It was more psychological type of work there, in my opinion. But yeah, it was a great film.
It was a good
It's
film.
a good film. It was, like I said, 2.5 hours. I thought, oh God, am I going to get through this? But the time just absolutely flew.
It zipped along, didn't it?
Yep.
There was no point at all where I was bored. There was no sort of second act.
No.
Oh, it's gone a bit flat. It ran 100 miles an hour the whole way through, and I loved it.
Yep, brilliant.
Absolutely loved it. Right, that's the end of our Mission Impossible review. At this point, I'm going to do my normal sign-off. Do you want to do it, James?
No.
You want to do it, Hammers?
No,
Or?
I would only do it if I had
Yeah.
something in front of me to tell me.
But you don't.
I mean, I've tried to do it when you've not been here before, and I've just said,
You've done a
yeah,
good job, I
we
thought.
we can download us in these places, like Spotify is one of them.
Okay, then I'll take a run at it. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening to this podcast. We are the Nerdschatting podcast, as I said right at the top. You can download this for free from iTunes. We're on Spotify, or you can go to nerdschatting.podbean.com. You can also go to nerdschatting.com and click on latest podcasts, and it's all available on there. You can follow us on social media, which is Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Nerds Chatting, all one word, NERDSCHATTING, and you will find us. And if you talk to us on the social medias, you'll be talking to me, because I do all of that stuff.
Cool.
You can send us an email if you want as well, which is nerdschatting@outlook.com. Nate will get that, and you'll get a reply in a couple of weeks. You're not here next week, are
No,
you?
mate, I'm away. I'm on
So,
holiday.
I thought I was going to review The Incredibles 2 next week, possibly with a very special guest. However, I don't think I'm going to get a chance to see it.
Oh.
So I don't know what we're going to do next week, but there will be a podcast next week. I'll just say that.
Right. I look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's going to be terrible because it's going to be me and one other person. But we'll see.
I think you'll pull out of the bag.
I'd give it a good
Back
go.
yourself.
Give it a good college try. Right. That's the end. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. I've been Ben. You've been James.
I have.
We'll see you next week.
TTFN.
Bye.
Yeah, it was really funny yesterday. We were in this gallery place, and some man thought that Nathan was my dad.
It was not funny.
It was really funny.
I think it's because you look young, not because I look old.
Creepy.